Hello, hello, hello. It looks like we are live. So I just wanted to say, I heard last week that some people were not able to log in, that the system would not log them in. I am not sure what's going on with that. I also know last week we ran a poll, and when one of the participants answered the poll, it kicked her out and she had to come back in. So I apologize to anybody who wasn't able to get on. I am not sure what's going on or what to do about it. So if you get in this week and you had trouble last week as well, let me know so that I can follow up in any way I can figure out. So anyway, this is Illuminate Your New Year, Illuminate Your Life Forever. Welcome to Insights with Ivanna. This is a weekly broadcast designed to help you identify, embrace, and live more fully in your genius by illuminating important pieces of information that you actually already possess. If you're here, please give me a shout out. I know it's a busy time of year, and I've heard from several of you, you might not make it tonight. I thought about just recording it, pre-recording it, and posting it, but I thought it'd be more fun to take a chance and see if anyone's able to join me. So do join me tonight as we explore how we can illuminate your life forever. I am Ivanna, the founder and Chief Luminary Officer of Luminary Insights, which is an intuitive life coaching brand. So today we are going to continue our Illuminate Your New Year series. You can actually do these 4 steps anytime at all, but as I shared last week, I chose to do it this last 4 weeks of the year because the holidays can be so busy with the hustle and bustle, and it's a way to approach New Year's resolutions, which many people do, with sort of a twist. So I want you to think about, what if you entered 2020 already a stronger, better version of yourself with habits in place and the whole year ahead of you to change your world and even change the entire world for good. Looks like some people may be on, so please drop a message in the chat so that I know who is here. So last week, we explored how you can embrace your genius by identifying the difference between your zone of excellence and your zone of genius. So if you were on last week, hopefully you came prepared tonight with at least one thing that you decided you wanted to embrace for the new year. Because tonight we're going to visualize your up-leveled life and explore strategies to help you see it clearly. Don't worry if you haven't figured it all out with your genius or your zone of excellence. We'll talk about that a little bit as well. And really, you can trust your instincts. When I ask you questions, what comes to your mind first is what you can run with. Hi, Christina. I'm so glad you're here. Others, if you're here, drop me a note so that I know you're here. I see the numbers going up. Thank you for coming tonight. I know it's such a busy time of year. So tonight we are going to continue, and we're going to visualize. And then next week we'll be empowered by taking action. And on the 29th we will discuss how to receive. But you have to join me that night in order to learn all about it. So I want you to type in the chat box what you have decided you will embrace for the new year. So remember, I ask you to choose something that's within your zone of genius, something that you're gifted with, something that just makes you feel like time stands still when you're doing it. It's okay if you're not sure what it is. Just go with whatever jumps into your mind. Go with your gut, what pops into your mind, and what is something that you want to up-level for the new year. Hi, Cindy. Yay, you got in tonight. I was just saying at the beginning how we had several glitches last week. So yay, I'm glad you're here. So think about going into the new year. We talked about last week that so many people pick something that's really hard for them, something they're not good at, to change. So we want to start by thinking about something you're already good at and how can you become even better. So what thing pops into your mind? What might it be that you want to make even better? So for me, what I want to really focus on in the new year is coaching others and really helping them to become the best version of themselves. So that's my what. And then we're going to talk about how. Probably want to think about our why also. Why do I want to do that? I want to do that because it helps me grow, but it also helps others to grow, which ultimately helps everybody. And if you ever see some of the things I write, I'm all about #world changers, because that's what each of us are in our own way. So I'm going to pause for a second. If you haven't picked something yet, just go with what comes to your mind. What is something you already do well that you can up-level in the new year? It can be a personality trait. It can be something, a skill set that you have. What is something that you can up level? So you can keep typing if you haven't finished yet. So again, for me, it's like, what am I going to do with it? Now that I know that I want to increase my time in my genius, I want to spend more time helping others grow. And I can do that in a lot of different ways. I can do it through my state job. I can do it through Luminary Insights coaching. And I want to make sure that I have a purposeful increase in my time in my zone of genius. So my goal is to increase by at least 2 hours per week. It doesn't sound like a whole lot, but I want to purposely increase my time in my genius, my time helping others, my time purposefully helping people grow, whether it's through a one-on-one coaching, whether it is through a presentation I'm giving. I want to really build that in at least 2 hours per week. So how am I going to do that? So before I share how I'm going to do that, if you're willing to type, if you've thought about what it is you want to do, think about how you can do that as well. So what have you decided to do? And how can you do that? And you don't have to type it. We're going to talk about it some more. But keep thinking, and I'll give you just a second. What are you going to embrace, and how are you going to embrace it? Got a quiet group here tonight. Okay, so Christina says, I'm not sure what my genius is, but I want to get closer to God this next year. So fantastic. So your genius, we can talk about in more detail, but getting closer to God, building those relationships, that's a very, very important thing to do, not just for yourself, but for the impact it has on others. If you've thought about how you might do that, go ahead and put that in the chat as well. And if you haven't yet, that's okay, because we're going to do some things tonight that will help push you along that way, help you think of some things, but also help you then begin to visualize as if they have already happened. So I'll give you guys just another second if you want to type. And since Christina did give us an answer, I can tell you that one of the clues to your genius is tied to what it is you desire to grow in. So you've already got some idea, even though it may not be solid in your mind. And that's true for all of us. We sometimes don't realize what it is we're called to do or what we're growing in and moving toward, but clues are all around us. And one of those clues is, oh, this is what I want. This is where I want to be. It's like that inner voice telling us already what it is we want to do, even without us knowing it. Just like I say at the beginning of the broadcast, my goal is to illuminate things that you already have. You just haven't seen them yet. You just haven't seen them clearly enough yet. So we're going to talk about visualizing. So I'm not going to use the poll question since it kicked people out last week, but if you're willing to type in the chat, my first question is to you, how do you visualize? Do you see things in your mind? Do you write them out in detail? Do you maybe put pictures together of something to help you see it? Or is there another way that you visualize? How do you visualize? How do you visualize? So Christina has responded to the last one, so I'm going to go back to that for a minute. So she would like to strengthen her ties with the church. So interpersonal relationships, it sounds like servitude probably is a piece of that as well. So think about, how do you visualize? If you are wanting to strengthen your ties to God, you want to strengthen your ties to the church, how would you envision that? Would you have pictures in your mind? Would you write things out? Would you tell yourself stories? Would you maybe put together some pictures to help remind you the direction you want to go? I think one thing I've seen you do in the past, Christina, is actually write affirmations on the mirror in the bathroom so that when you go in, you see it every time to help you visualize it, to help you remember it and think about it. So how do you visualize? There are so many different ways. And my next question for you is, do you have a vision board? And so if we were doing the poll, the answer choices would be yes, no, I used to, I want to, or do I have a what? So how about you? Do you have a vision board? And if you're watching this in the replay, you can go ahead and answer in the chat because it will come in the same timeline and I can see where your answers were. So those of you that are online, if you're willing to answer, do you have a vision board? Yes, no, I used to, I want to, or a what? Well, we will come back to the vision board in just a minute. So there are many, many ways to visualize. You may have done one of the joy visualizations with me in the past, where we tie all of our senses and emotions to relive the essence of joy at some time in the past so that we can bring it into the future. We're going to do a visualization meditation toward the end of this to do this specifically with what you are working on. I got a what? All right. And then I also got visualizing plans with my best friend, the Google Calendar. Awesome. Lots of ways. So we will get to that vision board in just a second, and we will also do the meditation to help you visualize toward the end. So affirmations, I already mentioned. Affirmations, putting together words that help you to affirm what it is you want. So for me, one of the things I'm thinking about is this course that I'm writing, my positivity course. And so my affirmation could be, my positivity course is touching lives and making the world a better place. I could even strengthen it and say my positivity course is touching thousands of lives and making the world a better place by increasing kindness and goodwill one person at a time. So affirmations, think about yourself. What are some affirmations you might have? Oh, great, on your phone. Perfect. So Cindy has affirmations on her phone. That's a great way to be reminded. I know I have my phone with me constantly all the time. And so, wonderful idea. Is there a particular app or something you use, Cindy, that you'd like to share with us? That would be really nice if there is something that you use. So having those affirmations, part of my vision board, my bigger vision board, I have affirmations on my vision board as well. So I have pictures, but then I have words. And one of mine that I've talked about in the past on this broadcast is I'm doing the best I can, and I believe others are as well. And that really helps me sometimes when I go into my judgmental mode about why they aren't or are doing something. It's like, oh wait, they're doing the best they can. I'm doing the best I can as well. Success logs are a wonderful thing to have. A success log is just like a journal or on your phone where when something that you have wanted to do, something you have visualized actually happens, you write it down and even put a date on it. So I've mentioned before, I know you're tired of seeing my book cover, but it still blows my mind. I never imagined being in a book, being on a cover like this. And so I can put down that date of August 25th when we launched. August 25th, 2021, that is something that I visualized. It's something I wanted to happen. It came to be. So then if I'm having a rough time or it's like, oh, this is never going to happen, I can go back and look at my success log and say, oh my gosh, that's when the book published. That's when my website went live. That's when I met that guy and got remarried. You know, I can put these things down, things that I wanted to have. Oh, it's called the Manifestation app. I'm going to have to check that out. Thank you, Cindy. The Manifestation app, exactly what we're talking about, visualizing in order to manifest. Another thing is the vision board. So a vision board can be done in many different ways. It can be done on your computer, it can be done on your phone, but the idea of a vision board is to have something visual, and I look over here because that's where my big one is. Have something visual that triggers for you what it is you are desiring and what it is you're working toward and what it is you're trying to manifest to remind you moment by moment. And it can be large, it can be small. What I did for this particular broadcast is I put together a small, let's see if I can get it right, a small vision board. And so on this vision board, I put some words that were meaningful to me. I put some pictures that are meaningful to me. So up in this corner is that course I was just talking about. That's my cover page for the course. And I want to have that course finished by March. I want to have it put together as a self-paced course. I want it to be interactive, and I want to have it up on my webpage so that people can purchase it and go through it. And so that's there to remind me that this is what I want to do. And on my bigger vision board is an older version of that up there reminding me that this is something that I am working toward. And it's not just a goal, there's a why. The purpose of that is, like I said in my affirmation, because I want my course to touch people's lives, not just to touch them individually, but to make a change in the world. So some other things that I put on here, this is from my website on the page where you sign up if you are interested in having a phone call with me. And I want to impact the world. I want people around the world to be interested in what I'm doing so that I can touch their lives and that they can then touch others, because everyone touches mine as well. I put the name of the company in the middle because I want to see the company flourish. That was something that was part of my visualization, was how do I take what I believe are my genius traits, which are speaking and writing materials and coaching people, and do something more with them. I also included the symbols from a lot of the different social media, just like tonight. I want to have a social media presence. The book, I want to see the book touching people's lives. If you've read the book, the stories in there, not even thinking about my story, but the power of so many stories, 30 different women with the things they've gone through and how they've been able to overcome. And then finally, I had this piece here with a computer and a microphone, just looking at podcasts, broadcasts, interviews, those kinds of things. So those are on my vision board. Those are the things that totally tied to the new year that I'm looking at. I have a larger vision board that has places that I would like to live, people that I would like to interact with. Another one of the affirmations I have is I see others in love and light. I don't always do that, right? But when I look up, it's like, oh yes, I need to see myself and others in love and light. So I'm going to pause for a second because I do want to ask you what thoughts have come to your mind while I've been talking, and then I want to close us out with a visualization meditation. I'm going to look up the manifestation app while I give you a second to type. I'm seeing a couple of different ones. So Cindy, I'll have to get a look at your phone and see what it looks like so that I can put it in the notes from this broadcast. So I can't tell if anybody is typing, and I hate to move on if you're typing. So I'm going to go ahead and give you an example of what the visualization meditation is like with my answers. And then if you haven't typed anything else, we'll actually go on and do the meditation together. So the visualization meditation, if you've done the joy meditation with me, is very similar. You take something that you want to visualize and you want to focus on. Oh, I'm going to stop for a second. So Cindy said, okay, thank you. Yeah, we'll take a look at that. And Christina said she still has the notes on her bathroom mirror, but she wants to do a vision board as well. Oh, I'm excited. It's great. And if you do the vision board, please share it. You can post a picture on the Facebook page, or if you just want to share it with me privately. And if you have other questions, we can certainly talk about it. Glad you're interested. So the meditation, in the joy meditation, you find a point in your life where you were full of joy, and we walk through a number of things to bring that into your life now, where you can pull it up at any moment. So we're going to tweak that a little bit, and we're going to tie it to the thing that you've chosen to embrace from last week to visualize this week. So my example is my course. So I want to visualize that my course is finished, it's polished, it's ready to go. And as I'm visualizing, I'm going to put this picture back up. As I'm visualizing, I'm going to be thinking about, what do I see? I see the colors. I see the slides. I see it up on my website. What do I hear? Maybe I hear the background music that's in the actual presentation. Maybe I hear people talking about how it's touched their lives. Are there any smells involved? Not in this particular one, there's not, but there may be smells involved. There may be things that I feel, like I feel the keyboard as I'm responding to someone who wrote me a letter. And then I really will take it together and tie it into a feeling. How am I feeling? As I'm seeing the messages from people whose lives have changed, I feel warm inside. I feel like I have benefited others. I feel like I have fulfilled part of my calling. It makes me happy. And so I'm going to bring all of those things together to help me visualize the completion of this course. And as I do that, I'll then be able to bring that back at any moment. So maybe I'll look up and see the picture of the course, and I can close my eyes and I can feel it again as if it's already happened. And that helps me to manifest that. That helps me to be motivated to do it, but it also helps to bring things together to help me complete that course. So what I'm going to ask you to do, if you're willing, is think about the one thing that you've chosen. So Christina, you chose being closer to God, being more involved in your church. Cindy, whatever it is you've chosen, close your eyes and think about that. And as you think about that, think about all the details that might be involved. Where are you as this is happening or taking place? Who else is there? What do you see? What colors are around you? What furniture is there? Is it quiet? Is it noisy? Is it light or dark? Think about the location. Think about, what are you doing? Are you standing? Are you sitting? Are you talking to people? Are you alone? What sounds do you hear? Actually let yourself try to hear those sounds. Are there any particular words that you're saying or that others are saying to you? Are there any smells? Maybe fresh flowers, maybe food. What about touch? Do you feel anything? Is there soft fabric? Maybe a furry animal. What are you feeling? What are you touching? Bring all of your senses in. Taste, sight, sound, feeling. And then go to the feeling. What is happening in your body? Do you feel joy? Do you feel relaxation? Do you feel happiness, satisfied, excited? What are you feeling in your body? Bring as many details into the visualization as you possibly can. And I'm going to be quiet for just a moment and let you just play out that visualization in your mind. As you do that, really feel the feeling. Feel the joy. Feel the fulfillment. What I'm going to ask you to do right now is to sort of take a snapshot. Take a picture in your mind of the thing that it is that you want to embrace as if it already actually exists now. Take a snapshot. And then when you're ready, begin to step away from that picture, from that vision, with that snapshot in your hand. Imagine holding that snapshot up and looking at it in front of your face as the visualization fades away. And then slowly open your eyes. So take a deep breath. And if you're willing to let me know, how was that for you? Even though I was talking, it was exciting for me. Excitement was one of my feelings. I could see the course in its entirety. I could see it working the way I want it to. I could see people taking the course and growing as individuals, and then taking what they've learned and sharing it with others. I could see messages coming in. I could see myself interacting with people who have taken the course and taking it to the next level in one-on-one coaching. Even while talking to you, I could feel that. I could get excited about that. And now I've got to remember, when it happens, to make sure I write it down in that journal, that manifestation has come. I can write affirmations to go with it. I have my miniature vision board. And I only focused on one piece tonight, right? Your vision board could be just one thing. And your vision board can change, should change over time, especially as you fulfill some of those things. So I'm curious to know what that experience was like for you. If you are willing to share in the chat. So I'll give you a few more seconds to type. I put the website in there along with next week we will be talking about empower. So I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I have, and I hope you'll invite your friends to join us in the future. You can check out more at the website, myilluminaryinsights.com. There are a couple of different tabs to take a look at. There's one on the book, if you want to learn more about the book. There is one called Blog, which is where you can find the replays of these if you don't want to come back and look at them here on the website or on the Facebook page. There's also one that says Let's Talk, where you can fill it out in order to have a phone call to go a little bit deeper. Oh, Christina, thank you. She says, I so needed that. I felt so overwhelmed with joy and love. I visualized members of, I got chills. I haven't even read it all yet and I've got chills. I visualized members of my church, me participating in different serving opportunities, and just a lot of smiles and laughter. That's beautiful, Christina. And again, you have lots of clues right there to what your genius is. So you've mentioned several times already just tonight about serving, about interaction with other people. That's part of your genius. So you are uncovering it as you work through what it is you want to embrace and then visualize. And next week, we'll talk about taking action to really empower that. And then finally, just before the new year, we'll talk about receiving, talking about that manifestation that Cindy mentioned in her comment earlier. So I'm glad that that was touching for you. Like I said, it meant a lot to me, even as I was talking and telling you about it. And I hope that others will watch the broadcast and get something from it as well. So Cindy just added that the app is based on the law of attraction. Okay, I may have found the right one. I found a couple of different ones by that name. So if you have the actual name of it, Cindy, then if you could put that in the chat. Otherwise, we will talk later and I will find it and I want to check it out myself. So yeah, all about the law of attraction. What we focus on is what we manifest. And that's not tonight's broadcast, but I just have to say one of the things I'm constantly reminding myself is I have a choice. I have a choice how I see something. You know, if it's raining outside, I can see it as a dreary, awful day, or I can see it as what a beautiful way for us to be refreshing our plants and getting the pollen out of the air. And, you know, it's the same day, but how I choose to look at it is different. And what comes to me is different because of how I choose to look at it. And I have to remind myself of that, sometimes moment by moment. I think we talked about that in one of our other broadcasts, doing all things in love and things like that. So absolutely. Thank you guys. I really appreciate you being here. I've had several people tell me they pop in, and if you don't type a message, then I don't know that you're here. But thank you for being here this evening. And I hope I'll see you again next week for us to continue this journey together. And if you have any other comments, just type them in the chat. I do try to keep this to about 30 minutes, and we are right at 7:30 Eastern Time. So I don't want to rush anybody off if you've got things you want to talk about, but I also don't want to keep you hanging on. So thank you so much for being here with me. It does a lot for me to have you guys here and to spend time with you as well. So I'm going to go ahead and close out the broadcast. Hope to see you again next week. Thank you guys. With love and light, Ivanna.